Hey guys, it's Chantel and welcome back to my channel. Now, I recently went to the library and got a few holds here, so I thought I would try something a little different. I kind of wanted to do a library haul, and maybe you guys could weigh in and let me know which of these books you think I should pick up first. Now, this selection is mostly Christian fiction books based off of recommendations I got in my rant against Christian romance books video, as well as my favorite Christian fiction from this last year that I've read. You guys have been awesome and have been giving lots of different suggestions, so I went on my library site and just requested a bunch of them. But now I don't know where I should start with all of these, so I'm gonna go through and hopefully you guys can help me pick out which one or two maybe I should start with, and then we'll go from there. I did recently, in the last week or so, start keeping track of who recommended certain books and what genre it is, and if I'm buying that book or getting it from the library and all that. But I don't think most of these are tracked that way, so unfortunately I can't say who recommended it without going back and looking at comments from all the videos recently. But yeah, anyway, let's just get into the books. The first one is The Zookeepers Wife. This is a World War II, I think it's a non-fiction story, or it's a historical fiction story, because this one was recommended because I recently read Irina Sendler, her story, her biography kind of thing, and The Zookeeper's Wife. So I think this is in Poland during World War II. Somehow I think they were sneaking Jews out of Poland, maybe. Maybe I'll just read the back here a little bit. It says, after their zoo was bombed, Polish zookeepers Jan and Antonetta, some last name I'm not going to pronounce, managed to save over 300 people from the Nazis by hiding refugees in empty animal cages. With animal names for these guests and human names for the animals, it's no wonder the zoo's code name became the house under a crazy star. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is based off of a true story, but probably historical fiction at the same time. It doesn't actually say anything about it being fiction at all, but that one sounds interesting. I have read a decent amount of World War II historical fiction in the past. I'm not a huge historical fiction reader. I have read quite a few, and I thought that was my favorite genre for a while, and then I realized it's not really. I feel like they're often very, very similar to each other, so yeah, keep that in mind when thinking about which ones I should read first here. I don't know if you guys can see my wonderful cat scratching post is going to be my stand here. Then I had Jacqueline Woodson's piece Locomotion. I read a couple of her books, some of her newer ones. I have no idea why I requested this book. I think I requested it before the pandemic, before the library shut down, and it just came in now. It has something to do with a foster family, so maybe that's why. It says Lonnie, aka Locomotion, is finally starting to feel at home with his foster family, but with his foster brother away at war and his sister Lily living with another family, he's got a lot on his mind. So he decides to be the rememberer and write letters to Lily about everything that's happening. That sounds interesting. I think this is probably YA, ages 10 and up, it says, so upper, middle grade, young YA maybe. Okay, then, so those two are not Christian books, and then I think the rest of these are. This is Lynn Austen, Return to Me. This is, okay, so this is back in King Cyrus's day, so this is biblical fiction, which is something I've been interested in reading, but I have no idea really where to start with biblical fiction. I did read some Liz Curtis Higgs books years and years ago, but I think maybe that's all that I've read as far as biblical fiction goes. Oh, and then Francine Rivers' book that I'm just totally blanking on the name of, but those were back in high school and before kids kind of thing. Yeah, so that is this one. Then I got 2 Stephen James books because I think this one is suspense. Every Crooked Path. It says, a mysterious suicide and series of abductions draw Patrick into a web of intrigue involving an international conspiracy where no one is who they appear to be and the stakes have never been higher. So he is an author that I have seen a big section of books in the library in the past. Like, he has a lot of books out, but I've never read any of them. And I'm wondering, when it comes to Christian fiction, if I need to maybe like kind of stay away from female authors, because I feel like a lot of the books that I struggle with are female Christian authors. But that's not true, because like some of my favorite Christian fantasy books are female authors. So I don't know. But I was curious to try a male Christian author. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that. And then I also got, this one is a series that he has. Oh. So this is the Bower Files, and this is a Patrick Bower's thriller. So I don't know if these are combined a little bit. Oh, it says here this launches a new chapter of Patrick Bower's thrillers. So I have no idea. But this is The Pawn, where Special Agent Patrick Bower never met a killer he couldn't catch until now. So he's on the case of a serial killer, and he finds himself caught in a deadly game of cat and mouse. Interestingly, there's nothing on the back here about a romance, which would happen if this was a female author, and it doesn't say anything here about that. So I'm curious. I've never read any of his books. This one wasn't recommended to me at all, or neither of the books by him were recommended to me, but I'm curious. I need more new to me authors. This one was a recommendation. This is Jill Williamson, King's Folly. I definitely remember that someone recommended this one. Their battle for the throne has just begun, but will it matter if the world they rule collapses into the sea? So it says, the gods are angry. Volcanic eruptions, sinkholes, ground shakers, everything points to their unhappiness. At least that's what the king of Armenia believes. His son, Prince Willick, thinks his father's superstitions are nonsense, though he remains the ever dutiful first arm of Armenia. So this is like fantasy, I guess, Christian fantasy, which I have read some of in this last year and really enjoyed. Wow, this has really small font. So yeah, that's a thick book and really small font. I would love to hear if you have read this before. It was definitely recommended to me by a subscriber, so it's on the list. Okay, 3 more. This is The Great Trouble, a mystery of London and the Blue Death and the boy called Eel. This one was either recommended after we were reading Sweep, or yeah, I think so. We are actually currently as a family listening to Fever 1793 right now, and yeah, so we've been reading a lot about like London and different bad things that happen, chimney sweeps and plagues and fevers, and so this one sounds interesting. Plus it's like middle grade or ages 10 and up again, so this would be a fast read. Okay, so a while ago I had started to mention in a video, and then apparently like got sidetracked and got distracted and forgot to like finish my sentence. But I had come across a female author, female Christian, I believe, author, who writes mystery books that follow one female main character throughout the series. And so I was thinking, like, you can't have a romantic mystery book every time, can you? Like, the same character can't fall in love in every book, right? Like, maybe? So this is Vendetta by Lisa Harris, and this is the Nikki Boyd Files. But now here I do see that this is romantic suspense. So it says, no one needs to push Nikki Boyd to excel at the Tennessee Missing Persons Task Force. The case of her own missing sister, still unsolved after 10 years, is a driving force in her work. When a Polaroid photo of a missing girl shows up at a crime scene, Nikki quickly realizes similarities to the past. The closer she gets to the abductor, the more she feels this case has become personal, and she is not the hunter, but the hunted. And it doesn't say anything on the back here about a like romance, so that's different. I really like Terry Blackstock's work. I read lots of it in high school and then read her If I Run series this year. And I would love to find another author like her, so this one sounded promising, hopefully. Okay, and the very last one. This is a huge one as well. This is Hood by Stephen Lawhead. Now, Holly from Lovely Day with Holly has been reading his Skin Map series, and I think our library doesn't have that in physical copy, so I got a different one of his books to check it out. Check out his writing, I guess. So I'm assuming this is like the Robin Hood story, but I do believe that he is a Christian author as well. What will you do with your life now that you have it back? These words from the wizened old woman, Tante Bran, heir to the throne of Elfeo. Oh, I'm so terrible at pronouncing words, especially like made-up words. She has saved his life, and for that he is grateful, but her demands are growing more insistent. So, I don't know if this is supposed to be steeped in Celtic mythology and the political intrigue of medieval Britain. His latest work conjures up an ancient past and holds a mirror to contemporary realities. Prepare yourself for an epic tale that dares to shatter everything you thought you knew about Robin Hood. Okay, that sounds interesting. Yeah, so I want to try at least one of these books, maybe two, maybe three, depending on the size, and find some like more authors that I feel like I can count on and don't just write very predictable books. So I would love to hear which one or two or maybe three of these that you would like me to try to read this month. And I will try to get to it through like amongst all my other August TBR stuff that I have to do. So thanks for watching, guys.